All right, ready to dive in. Today we're going to be talking all about languages,
Ooh, fun.
specifically the ones spoken by the most people across the globe.
Okay.
Have you ever thought about how knowing another language could just open up like a whole new world for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, like better communication, exciting travel opportunities,
Yeah.
even making deeper connections with different cultures.
For sure.
It's all right there when you kind of understand the nuances of language.
Totally. And we're not just going to be like reciting dry facts and figures.
No.
We'll uncover some surprising things you might not know about these languages.
Definitely.
For example, did you know Mandarin Chinese has a wild number of native speakers?
Oh, yeah,
We're talking over 1.1 billion?
that's right.
Crazy.
It's huge, and that makes it a language to watch, especially with China's like growing global influence.
Mm-hmm.
It's known for its complexity, though.
I've heard that.
Yeah, learning Mandarin can feel a bit like trying to climb Mount Everest.
Really?
It's got this unique writing system, and those tricky tones where even like a slight difference in pronunciation can change the entire meaning of a word.
Oh, I've heard about those tones.
Yeah.
Imagine like accidentally ordering a chair instead of chicken at a restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oops. But don't let that deter you.
Yeah.
It's all part of the journey, and the rewards of mastering a language like Mandarin can be huge.
Absolutely.
Now shifting gears to something maybe a little more familiar.
Okay.
Let's talk about English for a second.
Okay.
With over 1.4 billion speakers worldwide,
Wow.
including those who aren't native speakers,
Yeah.
it's considered the lingua franca of
Yeah.
today.
So why is English considered a lingua franca? What does that even mean?
Well, think of it as a common language that bridges the gap between people who speak different native tongues.
Okay.
It's the go-to language for global business, international travel, even diplomacy.
Yeah.
Historically, other languages like Latin or French have held this lingua franca status.
Oh, interesting.
It just depends on which culture is kind of holding the reins of power at the time.
So that makes me wonder if the global power dynamics shift, could another language like Mandarin potentially kind of take over as the next lingua franca?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all comes down to those global power dynamics we were talking about.
Right.
But beyond just communication, languages
Yeah.
carry this incredible cultural richness.
Absolutely.
Think about the stories, the music, the traditions.
Yeah.
Each language has its own unique flavor.
It's like with the Bollywood films, they've become this global phenomenon, and a big part of their appeal is the glimpse they offer into Hindi language and culture.
Exactly.
And then there's Bengali literature. You have figures like Rabindranath Tagore, who
Yes.
won a Nobel Prize for his work.
Absolutely. Each language opens a door to a different way of seeing the world, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. It reminds me of when I was trying to navigate the back streets of Barcelona.
Right.
Knowing even a little bit of Spanish would have been a game changer.
I can imagine. And speaking of Spanish, it's the language of Cervantes and Picasso, tango and flamenco,
Wow.
with almost 500 million native speakers.
Wow.
It's hard to ignore its influence, especially in the Americas.
And that reach has a lot to do with history, right? The Spanish Empire's expansion left a lasting legacy in Latin America and parts of the U.S.
Precisely. It's fascinating how historical events like colonialism have shaped the linguistic landscape we see today.
Yeah.
For example, you mentioned struggling in Barcelona. Imagine how different things would be if indigenous languages hadn't been suppressed during those periods of colonization.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
It makes you think about the languages and cultures that were lost or marginalized throughout history.
it's a reminder that language is more than just words.
Mhm.
It's about identity, heritage, and even power dynamics. But let's move on to a language that's often associated with religion, Arabic.
That's intriguing. I'm curious to hear more about its significance beyond that aspect.
Well, Arabic played a pivotal role in the golden age of Islam, a period of incredible advancements in science, philosophy, and mathematics.
Wow.
It was a language of scholarship and innovation,
Mm.
and its influence can still be felt today.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a whole world of dialects within the Arabic-speaking world,
Oh, cool.
each with its own unique cultural flavor.
And that's a good reminder that even within languages like English,
Right.
which seem pretty widespread, there's so much variation.
Absolutely.
Think about the differences between British English, American English, Australian English.
True.
It's amazing how language can evolve and adapt in different parts of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It highlights the dynamic nature of language. It's
Uh-huh.
constantly evolving, reflecting the cultural shifts happening all around us.
It makes you realize that there's always more to discover, even within languages you think you know.
Definitely.
Now turning our attention to Bengali, it's actually the sixth most spoken language globally.
That might come as a surprise to some,
Yeah.
but it's true. Over 230 million speakers, primarily in Bangladesh and parts of India,
Wow.
make Bengali a language of immense cultural weight.
Yeah.
And we've already touched on its literary achievements. Rabindranath Tagore's Nobel Prize win is a testament to its impact on the world stage.
Absolutely. I think what's really fascinating about Bengali is how it's managed to maintain its strong cultural identity, even as its speakers have migrated around the world.
Yeah,
From the UK to the Middle East, North America, and beyond, Bengali communities are keeping their heritage alive.
it's a great example of how language acts as this thread connecting people to their roots, even when they're far from their original homeland.
And it reinforces the fact that understanding these dominant languages gives us more than just practical tools.
Yeah.
It provides a deeper understanding of different cultures and perspectives.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
It's like opening a window into a whole new world of human experience.
absolutely. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about Bengali and its ability to connect people to their heritage, even across continents.
Yeah, it's fascinating how a language can act as like a cultural bridge, isn't it?
Totally.
And that brings us to a key question.
Okay.
What makes certain languages dominant on a global scale?
Right.
It's a complex web of factors. We've got historical events, political influence, economic trends, even the rise of technology,
Wow, that's a lot.
all playing a role.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Sure.
We've already touched on how colonialism led to the widespread adoption of Spanish in Latin America.
Right.
That's a pretty clear example of history influencing language dominance.
Absolutely. When you think about the impact of empires like the British, the Spanish, the French,
Uh-huh.
their languages spread along with their political and economic power.
Makes sense.
The languages of the colonizers often became the official languages in their colonies, which, as we mentioned before, often came at the expense of indigenous languages.
Yeah, it's a reminder that the story of language is intertwined with the story of power dynamics.
Exactly. And in our current era of globalization, those dynamics are evolving even further.
Okay.
Think about it, like international trade, global organizations like the United Nations,
Right.
even the reach of mass media, they all contribute to the prominence of languages like English, Mandarin, and Spanish.
So it's like a snowball effect.
Kind of.
The more economic and political clout a country gains,
Uh-huh.
the more its language spreads as a language of business, diplomacy, and even education.
Precisely. And we can't forget about the role of technology.
Oh, of course.
The internet and social media have created this incredible platform for language exchange and learning,
Yeah.
which can accelerate the spread of dominant languages even more.
It's amazing that you can learn almost any language online these days.
It is.
You can connect with native speakers around the world, immerse yourself in different cultures, all from your living room.
It's truly remarkable. But we do have to consider the implications.
Okay.
While technology can bridge language barriers, it also has the potential to deepen existing inequalities.
How so?
Well, think about access to technology and digital literacy.
Right.
Those factors play a big role in who benefits from these advancements.
That's a really good point. It highlights the importance of ensuring everyone has equal access to technology and language learning resources.
Absolutely.
We want everyone to be able to participate in this increasingly interconnected world.
For sure. Now let's shift gears for a moment and explore some of the unique features of these languages. We talked about Mandarin's tonal nature, where a single word can have multiple meanings depending on the tone.
Right.
But did you know that Arabic has something called root words?
I heard of that, but I don't really understand how it works.
It's a fascinating system. You start with a three-consonant root that carries a core meaning.
Okay.
By adding different prefixes and suffixes to that root, you can create a whole family of related words with nuanced meanings.
Wow.
It's like building blocks for language.
That's incredibly intricate.
And it is.
Makes you appreciate the depth and complexity of languages.
Yeah.
Now, we We talked about Hindi and its connection to Bollywood, but
Yes.
can you tell me more about the specific qualities of the Hindi language?
Well, Hindi is known for its poetic quality and its rich vocabulary,
Hmm.
which are beautifully expressed in its literature and music.
Yeah.
It has a way of evoking emotion and imagery that resonates deeply with people.
It makes sense given the popularity of Bollywood films and music around the world.
Exactly. And speaking of languages that evoke a certain feeling,
Okay.
there's Spanish with its romantic flair and passionate rhythms.
Mm.
Think about the works of Cervantes, the vibrant energy of flamenco, or the
Yeah.
catchy melodies of Latin pop.
Yeah.
It's a language that captures the spirit of its people.
I think that's what draws people to language learning in the first place, the desire to connect with different cultures and experiences.
I could agree more. And Bengali, with its lyrical flow and evocative imagery, is another language that embodies that connection to culture.
We've talked about Tagore's influence on Bengali literature,
Yeah.
but are there any other unique aspects of the language that you find particularly interesting?
Well, Bengali has a unique grammatical structure that sets it apart from many other languages.
Okay.
It's known for its flexible word order and its use of compound verbs,
Ah,
which can create very nuanced expressions.
interesting.
It's a language that rewards those who dive deep into its intricacies.
So as we delve deeper into these languages,
Yeah.
we're not just learning words and grammar,
No.
we're uncovering layers of history, culture, and human expression.
Exactly. It's like piecing together a puzzle.
Yeah.
Each language offers a different perspective on the world,
Right.
a different way of thinking and feeling.
It makes you realize that there's so much more to discover beyond our own linguistic bubbles.
And that's the beauty of language learning.
Yeah.
It's a journey of exploration, of breaking down barriers, of connecting with different cultures, and expanding our understanding of the world.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground so far,
We have?
from historical influences to unique linguistic features.
Yeah.
But we're not done yet. When we come back, we'll explore some practical tips for language learning and discuss the incredible benefits of becoming multilingual. Welcome back. We've explored some fascinating aspects of the most spoken languages around the world, their
Oh.
history, their cultural significance,
Right.
even some of their unique linguistic quirks.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has.
We've seen how languages connect us, how they've evolved, and how they reflect the diverse tapestry of human experience.
Now, I know some of our listeners might be thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but like, where do I even begin if I want to learn a new language?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's more achievable than you might think.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'd say choose a language that genuinely sparks your interest.
Okay.
Passion is a powerful motivator, especially when you hit those inevitable bumps in the road.
So true. I remembered trying to learn French in high school,
Yeah.
and it felt like such a chore.
Yeah.
But when I started learning Spanish later on, it was a completely different experience.
I see.
And
The music, the culture, the food, it all just clicked for me.
exactly. When you're genuinely engaged with the language and culture,
Yeah.
learning becomes a joyful process rather than a tedious task.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to embrace the messiness of it all.
Yeah.
Making mistakes is part of the journey. Oh, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've fumbled through conversations,
Yeah.
but each stumble was a learning opportunity.
Precisely. Those moments of getting it wrong are often the moments when we learn the most.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are tons of resources available to help you along the way. Language learning apps, online courses,
Right.
language exchange partners, even cultural immersion programs.
And don't underestimate the power of immersing yourself in the language,
Yes.
even if you can't physically travel to a country where it's spoken.
Right.
Surround yourself with music, movies, podcasts, books,
Yeah.
anything that keeps you engaged and exposed to the language.
Creating a language-rich environment is key.
Uh-huh.
And don't forget to celebrate those small victories along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Every new word you learn,
Right.
every conversation you have,
Yeah.
it's all progress worth acknowledging.
Absolutely. Speaking of victories, let's talk about the amazing benefits of becoming multilingual.
Yes.
It's not just about being able to order a coffee in another language.
Right.
It's about expanding your horizons on a much deeper level.
That's right. Research has shown that multilingualism can can boost cognitive abilities
Yeah.
like memory, problem-solving skills,
Really?
even multitasking.
Wow, it's like a mental workout.
Exactly.
Cool.
And from a career standpoint,
Okay.
knowing multiple languages can open up a world of opportunities.
Makes sense.
It makes you a more competitive candidate in the global job market, and
Right.
it can even increase your earning potential.
Not to mention the travel benefits.
Oh, of course.
Imagine being able to navigate foreign countries with ease,
Hmm.
connect with locals on a deeper level, and
Right.
and truly immerse yourself in the culture.
It's about breaking down those communication barriers and experiencing the world with a fresh perspective.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of languages, I wanna leave you with this thought. Learning a new language is more than just acquiring a skill.
Yes.
It's a journey of self-discovery, a way to connect with different cultures,
Sure.
and an investment in your personal and professional growth.
It's a gift you give yourself, a gift that keeps on giving. It expands your mind, enriches your experiences,
Uh-huh.
and opens up a world of possibilities.
So what will your next linguistic adventure be? Which language will you choose to unlock? Remember, the most important step is simply to begin.
And approach the journey with curiosity. Embrace the challenges, and most importantly, have fun along the way.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this linguistic exploration. We hope this deep dive has inspired you to discover the world through the power of language. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep connecting with the world around you.